what's up everyone? GameDad here, coming at you guys with another game review. This time, kind of doing a follow-up to my Far Cry 5 review, and we're reviewing Far Cry New Dawn. Now, this is basically a gigantic DLC for the game. It was packaged as its own game, but I mean, it launched at 40 bucks, so obviously it's not a full-fledged game. But I gotta say, I had a lot of fun playing it. So, let's dive in and check out what it's all about. Alright, let's talk Far Cry New Dawn. This game takes Far Cry 5, puts a way higher quality skin on it, and fixes everything that you didn't realize was broken in Far Cry 5. And the game is gorgeous. So it's set in the future after the events of Far Cry 5, and I won't give any spoilers in case you haven't finished it, but it's set in the future, and all I'll say is there's a super bloom. So that means just vegetation and life is just vibrant and growing everywhere in the world. And this entire map is set on the same map as Far Cry 5. So you'll notice a lot of areas that were similar, but have changed over time as a result of what happened in the last game. Now, I will say Far Cry New Dawn is a short game. Like, wow, this game is just a fraction of Far Cry 5, and it led a lot of people to say the game was essentially a really big DLC for Far Cry 5, and you know what? Fine with me. I don't care. The game was awesome. The storyline, I don't think it was as in-depth as Far Cry 5 was, but the story was still good. It had a very similar premise, and it brings back a lot of characters from Far Cry 5, which is awesome because you get to see them as they've aged over the years. I want to say it's something like 20 years in the future or something like that. And what's cool is you get to experience a lot of what you loved about Far Cry 5 in New Dawn, but you get to experience it in different ways. And they have a bunch of new mechanics like all the forts that you can go do, or the bases and stuff, and you get 3 different levels, and as you progress through the game you actually get the ability to take on these things at higher levels because you can upgrade all of your weapons and modify your weapons, and it's just amazing what you can do. I mean, my favorite, hands down favorite weapon in the game was the saw blade launcher. So you don't have weapons that are, you know, all traditional rifles, bow and arrow, things like that. I mean, you get things that are like that, but you also get what becomes a bunch of modified things just because of the way the world now is. You don't have all these standard items and standard weapons. Everything is much more unique than that. And what's really cool is all of these weapons all have different levels that you can upgrade. That way the weapons become better and better as you get into the game more and they ramp up the difficulty. Now, right from the beginning of the game, you can go out and you can fight and you can do whatever the heck you want, but the world will knock you down because you aren't ready for those things. If you try and just go right out of the gate, you're gonna get killed instantly because you won't have the strength or the abilities to take on the higher level parts of the game, which branch out further into the map. But if you slowly take your time, then the difficulty ramps up with you and you're actually able to take on all of these more powerful enemies. And what was really cool about it is you kind of reach this apex, this crescendo of where you are this good at doing stuff and here's the difficulty, and then right towards the end of the game, all of a sudden you just become the most overpowered guy so that you can go and just wipe the floor with anyone that gets in your path. And it feels like a really good reward towards the end of the game because it means that you put in all this work, you died so many times, and you found all these different items to help make you better, and all of a sudden you're just like, you're the king of the land and you can take anyone out with ease, and that is an awesome reward. So travel mechanics was another one where I really liked it in Far Cry 5, thought it was fantastic, but now it's even better in New Dawn. They do things kind of the same, but also kind of different because they let you get a lot of these travel mechanics earlier in the game, which makes the game not feel as punishing as Far Cry 5 did when you're building up your difficulty level. And then a lot of the combat mechanics, they also did the same kind of thing. It was like the whole system got an overhaul, got a new skin, and then they put it out as a brand new game that just happened to be like a DLC plus. But, I mean, the game's fantastic. If you played Far Cry 5, you'll love New Dawn. If you never played Far Cry 5, I think you'll love New Dawn. I mean, again, it's my opinion, but I think the game is great. And although it is short, especially compared to Far Cry 5, it still is a really good game in my opinion. They give you just enough and they change just enough to make it a new experience and to maintain what was so great about Far Cry 5 before. So if you haven't played it, I recommend that you do. If you haven't even played Far Cry 5, I think you won't be completely lost in New Dawn. There will be some things that you'll be able to kind of pick up along the way in regards to the overall storyline, but overall I don't think you'd be lost if you just played New Dawn as a standalone and you never touched the other Far Cry games. I recommend you do and you go play those games, but I don't think it's 100% necessary if you just want to experience this cool game. So there you have it, everyone. That is everything that Far Cry New Dawn has to offer. I thought it was a very good game. I thought it was well done. You could tell that they definitely use the same engine as before with Far Cry 5, which is understandable since it is just a continuation of that story. But I gotta say, I really liked the vibrance that they added, and they fixed a lot of things that I didn't even realize were actually kind of broken in Far Cry 5. So I really appreciated it. They really streamlined a lot of processes in the game and made it that much more fun so you could focus on story instead of grinding. Now if you liked today's video, please let me know down in the comments below, and also be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons as well as that little notification bell so you're going to alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching and I'll catch you later.